Hey everybody, welcome to Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always is brought to you powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I am glad to be back here after a couple of weeks away from the show, guys. I missed you. Glad to be back, like I said. Got quite a few things to talk about this evening. We got some NBA stuff to get into. College basketball, of course, going crazy right now, especially for the Florida Gators. Shout out our Gators, right? Obviously representing the orange and blue all day, all night, baby. We have NHL to get into, guys. Bolts, Panthers, both playing outstanding hockey right now. We'll talk about what's going right for them. We have some NASCAR going on right now. It's Daytona 500, so I'm going to get you caught up with that. I'll get you where I was at and let you know what I saw going on. We should be reaching about the end of it now for multiple delays. So all that and more on this week's episode of Palm Tree Sports Radio. Again, my name is Corey Pujols, your host. And as always, this is brought to you in part by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. If you like to do it, back to you know what you get. Hey everybody, welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always is brought to you powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Happy Sunday evening, you guys. I'm glad to be back. It's been a long 2 weeks without you guys. Quite a bit has happened personally and in the world of sports, so we're going to get into that. Super excited about everything that's happening right now for all of our teams. Our NBA teams are struggling, but if you take that away, aside from Miami, actually, the Florida Gators, the Florida State Seminoles playing pretty good basketball right now. In the NHL, the Panthers and the Bolts both in break from action, but have been playing outstanding hockey as of late. We'll talk about the Daytona 500 and what's going on there. Had multiple delays due to weather. I'm here in Tampa, Florida via Brandon, Florida. They're literally just 1A and 1B, and we had some pretty good rain for about a good hour or so over on my side, so I can only imagine what they're dealing with over there, guys. But we got quite a bit to get into this evening for the show, so I'm going to get you caught up in what's going on in relevancy for Florida sports, guys, and then I'll send you guys on your way, get this work week started. So thank you guys for having it locked here at Palm Tree Sports. Let's go ahead and get over to our social handles, guys. So if you guys are looking for us on social media, you can follow us on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, etc. at IE Sports Radio. That is at IE Sports Radio for all of these social handles. IESportsRadio.com is going to be the website. That is the umbrella for all of our shows, where you can find all the shows that we house, including all the different states that are covered and the sports that are covered for those states, guys. Of course, you can find us on any of your podcasts. It doesn't matter where you get your podcast from, Spotify, Amazon. I use Apple's podcast. So whatever works best for you, you can find us again at IE Sports Radio. And then, of course, if you guys are looking for the social media handle for this show, the show you're listening to right now, which is Palm Tree Sports Radio, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be at _IE. Again, at _IE_, very important there. And then, of course, for my personal handle, specifically on Twitter, and you can find me on Instagram by searching my name at Pujols Corey. That's going to be me personally. I'm always on both of those apps talking a lot of sports. Same thing on YouTube. I try to spread it around and definitely interact as much as I can. So, but definitely all things sports, mostly all things sports Florida, because of course this is where I'm born and raised. So, we're going to get into, of course, Florida sports, but we're also going to talk about a little bit about what's been going on in the collective, right? Because obviously hockey, right? Team USA just had a big win against Canada, multiple fights, multiple players from the Florida Panthers. So, a little rowdy bunch down here, real country rowdy bunch, if you will. But yeah, they've never been shy to throw some hands. And, we saw that in that Team USA game against Canada. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And, of course, gloss over all the other things Florida sports related, guys. Now, for our sponsors this evening, of course, our usual suspects in the building for our sponsors: Planet Beef Jerky. The jerky is on a whole nother planet. Seal the Deal, wax seals by our very own Cecilia B. And of course, IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with the Vital Apparel. It's a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health and awareness, guys. And then, of course, with our newest sponsor, that would be Raw Nutrition. Raw Nutrition supplements, and get Raw Nutrition at it's www.getrawnutrition.com. Use promo code IESR for 10% off your order there, guys. So let's go ahead and get into a very, very brief message from our sponsors. We get back, we'll go ahead and check into the comments, and we'll go ahead and get into what I have for you this evening, guys. Keep it locked here for the next few moments, and we'll get the show rolling, guys.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
And a huge thank you to our sponsors. Of course, we couldn't make it happen without them. But welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, this is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Again, happy Sunday evening, you guys. Let's go ahead and get into the comments and see who's in the building for today. T-Rod, Dad, usual suspects. Very, very proud to see you guys here in the show, guys. Let's have a wonderful show. Let's get into it and let's see what's going on here in the world of sports Florida. Yes? Dad, I see. I'm glad you're keeping up with that. So do me a favor and will you keep those updates going, Dad, there in it? Because so the last time I saw it, it was on lap 158, I think it was, and the top three had just shuffled around. So yeah, this is completely different from what I saw on mine. So actually, I'll talk about that for a second. But the last time that I saw it, they were on lap 158. So headed towards 159, right? So very, very close to the end there. Bubba Wallace was in first place, but that swapped over at the last second. William Byron ended up moving over to first place. Ryan Blaney staying in second there, and then Bubba moving back to third. And then I think Bubba moved back up again. And then after that, it was, I don't know what happened. So much appreciated. That says lap 188. All right. And LaJoie is still ahead of Cedric by 6 seconds, but here come the Toyotas at 3, 4, and 5. Alrighty, cool. I'm a Toyota guy, so shout out to Toyota. I think they make some of the best vehicles on the planet personally, but that's just me. Kyle Busch, the ageless wonder, was still sitting in 4 the last time I saw him. So let's see how he does. Man, that guy's been doing it a long time. He's been doing it since I was a JIT. And if you guys know Florida lingo, you know what JIT means, right? So, but yeah, he's been doing it big since I was a JIT. My time would be junior. Obviously, Kyle Busch, Gordon, Jeff Gordon. I think he was my favorite. I think he was probably the guy that if I was going to watch NASCAR, that was who I was rooting for. Probably 9 times out of 10 with the occasional Dale Earnhardt Jr. So, yeah. There's a little something going on there. But like I said, ageless wonder, Kyle Busch still getting it done at 42, I believe it is now. 40, what is it, 2025? He's turned 43 this year, I think it is. So I'm glad to see him still rolling. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's tight, bro. We got 188, so 189 by now, obviously pushing to the 190s. Last 10 laps to go, just about. This is going to be a really tight finish because they've been doing the whole circle thing. The rain delay happened multiple times. Guys, we're in Florida. It can't be helped. It's pretty early, but it got warmer here faster than it normally does. So for all those who aren't familiar with Florida's climate, our winter starts pretty much at the end of December, usually after Christmas. And so January, February is usually when it gets cold for us. It's usually not really cold until then. I mean, it's a little nippy here and there, but nothing serious, right? So right now we're actually supposed to be in our winter, and it was like 80 degrees before it rained. Honestly, it was like 80, 85 degrees before it rained. After it rained, it was like 68, 70-ish. Beautiful temperature outside, right? But again, it can't be helped. We're in a peninsula. It rains a lot. Multiple delays for the Daytona 500, but still, I know NASCAR fans are just stoked for that to be back. And of course, it was a tremendous, it's always a tremendous event that takes place with a lot of stars and, a lot of popularity there in Daytona. And for reference, Daytona's on the other side of Florida, guys. So I am on the inside near the Gulf of Mexico and Tampa. And if you go to the outside near the Atlantic, that's where Daytona is at. And it is beautiful. Honestly, Daytona is beautiful. So shout out Daytona 500 making its return here in 2025, and we're going to see who wins the game, or not wins the game, but wins the race, and then have a good start off to that inside track, pun intended, for the NASCAR playoffs as that shakes out. Daytona is always a big deal, right? It's always a big deal. But what we're going to start with this evening is we're going to go ahead and start with the NBA, the Heat. Before I go into the Heat, guys, I will just mention a few interesting things for football. Obviously, we're in the offseason, so there's not a whole lot going on right now. Right now, we're looking at how free agency is going to shape up, and then the big needs for the draft. Of course, I will be going over that once we get closer to the draft, right? Because obviously, free agency does what it does, and then after that is usually when teams really dive into who they're trying to draft, especially in the first round, looking at who other teams will be potentially drafting and trying to get their draft board right in the draft war room. So for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now, what I can tell you is that they are hell-bent on re-signing Chris Godwin. We want Chris Godwin to stay here at Tampa Bay for as long as possible. We understand with the injuries, that second injury was not his fault. So neither one of those injuries are really his fault, but it's just one of those things that when you see it, in history, teams have been usually used to moving on. Tampa Bay isn't like that. There's a real family feel here in Tampa Bay, especially when it comes down to the team. And, really the only time we want somebody to leave is if they're retiring, right? So for Chris Godwin, the Buccaneers are absolutely looking at re-signing him, so expect them to do so. Of course, there are going to be other teams targeting him, but I think obviously he stays here at Tampa Bay, and we keep this family together. Obviously, Robert Hainsey, backup center, is possibly going to be leaving this team. We'll see what happens. I think we want to keep him, but at the same time, we do have Graham Barton, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Buccaneers look late in the draft for another center. I wouldn't do it personally. I would just re-sign Robert Hainsey, but that's just my opinion. That's what I would do. I think that's the right move. And then obviously Levante David, he's not sure what he wants to do, whether he's going to retire or play again. If he plays again, I think he signs another 1-year deal and just goes from there. He had an amazing season last year, so I think he should absolutely come back. And then for a light tap on what the Bucs need to draft, obviously they're going to need cornerback. I think cornerback and edge rusher are without the shadow of a doubt the two most important places that they have to draft, followed by linebacker. Going to be a very heavy defensive draft, guys, so get ready for that. The Buccaneers have found a lot of gems in undrafted free agency, especially on defense, and I think that they'll look to do so again in this draft. The Jaguars in a different position after poaching the Buccaneers first year offensive coordinator. I feel like the Jaguars, yes, I'm a little bit still upset about that situation. I think that the Jaguars they're a bottom feeder team, and I'm going to say it like what it is because they've been that way since Mark Brunell. I mean, the last time they were really good was Byron Leftwich was quarterback for them. I mean, they had Maurice James-Drew and, some good guys. Like, don't get me wrong, the franchise has had great players, but I really think that this is a franchise that doesn't try to fix their problems from within. I think that they're too busy looking around to try and fix their problems instead of looking at the draft and looking at what they can do to bring in better coaching. And that's the real reason why we haven't seen this team succeed in the better part of I don't want to say a better part of a decade, because they had a few good years, right? When they had Leonard Fournette and a really good defense. But that's no longer the case. And right now, the draft is going to be more important to them than what they do in free agency right now. So obviously, they're going to have to focus on drafting better and retaining their great players instead of letting them walk on really bad trades, right? So we've seen that happen as well. So that's the Jaguars bit. Still very upset with them, but nature of the business. We're going to move on. We're going to be better. Tampa Bay already filled their offensive offensive coordinator role with our own quarterbacks coach. So that's absolutely wonderful. Actually, we don't really have to change much. The offense should look very similar to what it looked like in 2024 here in 2025. Miami's just in a completely different spot right now. Miami's got a lot of areas where they're kind of glass cannon, right? So they have really good players in really good areas, and after that, there's not really good players in really good areas. So we saw that happen. We saw that dramatically take place with injury there with Miami this past year. But they also have some areas on defense that they're going to have to get better on. That defensive line, albeit very good, is very spotty at times. Obviously, linebacker and secondary are both going to need help. Secondary, we saw them need help this past year. So I wouldn't be surprised if they draft 2 cornerbacks or like cornerback and a safety this year, if not more. Obviously, wide receiver, running back, super loaded for them right now. Maybe a tight end. I don't know. Maybe a tight end, maybe a wide receiver, but they're very loaded on offense. This team could be very, very potent, but of course it's going to come down to whether Tua can stay healthy or not. I've been preaching that for the last 2 years. That's still the same case today, right? Tua's got to stay healthy. But that was just a quick rundown of like off-season details for the NFL as far as the teams here in Florida are concerned. For college football, it's slightly different. The Florida Gators are the talk of the town. Florida State, they're hiding somewhere under a rock, all right? I couldn't tell you which rock it is. It's probably not a big rock, but they're hiding underneath a rock. Miami, right now, they're trying to figure out what life is going to be like without half of their team. That's just what it is. Like, Miami is going to be a project. That's project like X right now, if you will. Nobody knows what's going to become of this Miami team. They're losing their best player to the draft. They're losing actually like 4 of their best players to the draft, followed by, again, about half of their team. A lot of guys are going to be leaving that program. So finding homes in the NFL. So we'll see what happens, okay, for college football as far as that concerns. But right now, Florida's turning a lot of heads with what they've been able to do through the transfer portal, what they've been able to do for recruiting. Obviously, DJ Lagway just completely lit up Florida. The only other team that I see as lit up right now from out of nowhere would be South Carolina. They got themselves a really good stud muffin quarterback, too, that I look forward to seeing this next year coming up. So super excited for college football this coming year. Super excited that this crappy college football season, ending is over with the Ohio State and Notre Dame bit. That was not fun at all. But then again, I'm a Gator talking about Ohio State, right? Like, we don't do that. Notre Dame, sorry guys, not this year. Great season, but those are 2 teams that really weren't supposed to be there in the final, in BCS championship. So that's the college football national championship, whatever you want to call it. But that I digress. Those are my opinions there. So with football, which wasn't originally on the schedule, out of the way now, let's go ahead and talk about the Miami Heat and the Orlando Magic, right? So the Miami Heat, right, recently got rid of Jimmy Butler, obviously. So Jimmy Butler has gone over to Golden State. The Warriors traded a couple of players for him and his services, and then I think he got suspended immediately. So that's very interesting. I don't know. JB, I love him, but he's not happy right now. And when he's not happy, he's doing very questionable things, right? So that seems to be what's going on right now. I like the Andrew Wiggins pickup for the Heat right now, but clearly they are struggling, all right? So, and when I say struggling, I mean record-wise. I don't mean in recent memory, right? So if we're talking about in recent memory, there's actually some positives to look at here, and those are some things we're going to go over. But the first thing to note is that their record is 25-28, and they just went on a 4-game winning streak, okay? So it was not looking good at all. And that 4-game winning streak really helped provide some positivity into the All-Star break, and then followed by some more positivity with Tyler Hero winning 3-point contests, right? So congratulations to Tyler Hero for winning that. His little victory lap was a little interesting. But congratulations to him, making Miami look good. Sharpshooter. Now let's see you do that. Let's see you continue to do that right throughout the rest of this regular season and into the playoffs. We need you to be on point. Phenomenal shooting done there this past weekend, but we need you to carry that, right? So speaking of carry that, their lost game, the last game they played, they lost to the Mavs 118-113. This is the Luka-less Mavs. Okay, Luka traded over to LA for AD and help. Max Christie, I think, was the other piece. So the Mavs in a very interesting looking place. I think AD is injured and out indefinitely. Luka already has come in for a couple of games, and he looks great. I mean, this is going to be a very fun team. watching Luka and LeBron play together. But not to be outdone, this Miami Heat team on the path to rebuilding properly and trying to become a team that's ready for playoff contention. Unfortunately, that is not the case right now. So 25-28, like I said, be the record for this Heat team. The next game they're going to play is going to be against the Raptors. The Raptors kind of slapping around at 17-38. Not looking good for them at all. That game is going to be Friday, February 21st at 7:30 p.m. So if you guys want to get a chance to see possibly a fifth win in a row there for the Miami Heat, it's going to come in the form of that Raptors game. Like I said, 4 wins in a row is looking pretty good. They're still pretty far down on the playoff chart as far as their rankings are concerned. I think they're like 8 or something like that. And like I said, not looking pretty. Got a lot of work to do to get back in plus, but this is a great start for the Miami Heat. So hopefully they can ride this, accelerant through these next couple of games as they come along. Now this next game is 5 days away. I think it is. What is it, today, the 16th? This game is going to be Friday, February 21st at 7:30 p.m. So like I said, you guys got plenty of time. They've got plenty of time to heal up and get healthy and just relax a little bit, catch their breath, and get ready for the second half of the season. So super excited to see what Miami has in store. But moving on to a team that's not performing very much better right now is going to be the Orlando Magic. So the thing about the Magic is they're healthy, but it doesn't feel like they're healthy, right? Does that make sense, guys? Like if you, I'm trying to think of another way to say it. You guys know, like when you have a flat tire and the air is going out of your tire, but it's not completely flat. So you put more air in it and you think it's working, but over time the air is going out, a little bit more. That's what it feels like with the Orlando Magic. Even though they're healthy, it doesn't feel like they're playing the same basketball they were playing last year. Now, that's just since they've become healthy again, right? Like, I'm not speaking and saying that somehow we lost talent or something like to that effect. That's not the case. This team is as talented as it's been in a decade, all right? Absolutely love what this team has going on right now. But realistically, I'm not 100% sure if this team is playoff ready right now. Now, they've got plenty of games to get in shape, but it's questionable. It's questionable. From what I saw last year to what I'm seeing just recently, especially with their record sitting at 27 and 29. All right. I'm not accustomed to seeing this Miami Magic team like this. Maybe a couple of years ago, yes, but over the last year and a half or so, no, absolutely not. Franz Wagner, Paul Banchero, just two young guys trying to carry this team, right? So they got some help with KCP, but, he hasn't been playing like himself lately either. Maybe his time is up. Maybe he's on the second half of his career. I'm not sure, but I'm not used to seeing this Orlando Magic team this way. With that being said, they did win their last game against the Charlotte Hornets, 102-86. Guys, don't get alarmed or anything like that. The Charlotte Hornets are rocking a 13-39 record, one of the worst records in the NBA this year. A win is a win, but they're 3-3 over their last 6. They're 2-2 over their last 4. This isn't where Orlando needs to be. This young Orlando team needs to kind of wake up, smell the coffee, and get it back in gear, especially the way they were playing last year. They were looking like a true contender for Eastern Conference Finals appearance. And playing like this isn't going to be it, guys. Next game is going to be against the Hawks. That's Thursday, February 20th at 7:30 p.m. So Heat game, 21st, Magic game, 20th. That's Thursday and Friday back-to-back. Get ready for that. Same start time, different days. Hawks rocking a 26-29 record, very similar record to the Magic. This is going to be a very interesting Eastern Conference game here. I think these are the 3 teams that's like 7, 8, 9 actually in the East. So I think it is, or 6, 7, 8, something like that. Anyway, so yeah, go Magic. Let's get a win against the Hawks there against Eastern Conference rival, and I'll see what else they can do moving forward. Mac McClung wins his 3rd straight dunk contest. I remember this guy was coming out of college. He was doing crazy dunks. Like, people were just like jaw dropping at some of the stuff that he was coming. Boy got hops. All right, like the guy gets up there, jumped over a car. The guy's insane. Okay, absolutely incredible technique and skill being put on display there by this young man. And of course, with Tyler Hero winning the 3-point contest, you got 2 teams in Florida representing here at the All-Star break. So that was absolutely incredible. And like I said, if you haven't seen that dunk yet, go check it out. Gotta say, it was very impressive. Mac McClung becomes the first Orlando Magic basketball player to three-peat in any of these skills competitions, let alone the dunk competition. So congratulations to that young man. I look forward to seeing what he does next year. And I'm definitely going to go back and look at that dunk one more time before we call it a day. Guys, we're going to go into our first break of the evening, and once we get back, we'll cover college basketball, the NHL, and then by then, shortly, when we come back, the NASCAR Daytona 500 will be over with as well. So I'll give you an update on that. But yeah, keep it locked here at Palm Tree Sports Radio for all of your sports news coming out of the Sunshine State, guys. My name is Corey Pujols, your host. And as always, it is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Keep it locked here in a few minutes. We'll be right back to you.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, Wisconsin sports fans? I'm Dan, diehard Baholic, host of the Wisconsin Whistle. Check us out every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. We're talking Green Bay Packers, Milwaukee Brewers, Milwaukee Bucks, Marquette basketball, Wisconsin football and basketball, and all Wisconsin sports. Don't miss us each week, Wednesdays, 6 p.m. on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here at Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, it is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Guys, let's go ahead and see if we have a win tie. All righty. Hamlin's still in the lead there with under 3 laps to go. It's going to be a photo finish. Well, then, speaking of photo finishes, Florida Gators playing college basketball at a very high level right now. Now, here's the deal. Okay. I love my Florida Gators. No matter what. But man, oh man, is it great to be a Florida Gator right now, right? So let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about it. They've beaten rank 1 Tennessee, and now they've beaten rank 1 Auburn. But at this point, if you're rank 1, you need to be scared. You need to be very, very scared because this Gators team is scary, okay? Literally, like no pun intended. It's literally a scary team. I still think we have the best backcourt in college basketball, okay? That's my personal opinion, okay? These guys are nuts, all right? Like Martin, oh my God, what is he on? Like, we got a great bench. We got some great bigs, all right? I love the direction this team is trending in right now. Right now, they're a Final Four lock at this point. I mean, it's going to be hard for you to find 3 better teams. Yeah, there's probably maybe 2 better teams total in all of college basketball right now, and honestly speaking. But I am very impressed with watching this Florida Gators basketball team play, and they just went through the gauntlet, right? What did we play? It was South Carolina, Auburn, and what, Mississippi State, is it? Was it Mississippi State? I think it was Mississippi State. All ranked, all went down. Bang. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Florida Gators are playing outstanding basketball right now. Let's talk about it, right? They've won 4 in a row since their loss to Tennessee. They beat Tennessee in the first game when Tennessee was ranked 1. Tennessee came back and got some revenge. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Fully suspected it. Fully saw it coming. Dad and I talked about it. I said, look, man, they're going to come back. They're going to get their win back, and that's just going to reset the board. The Gators are going to take that L, and they're just going to move on because you knew Tennessee was going to come back angry, and you knew it wasn't going to be long. It was only, a month between games? I think it was. It was a month between games. Fully suspected Tennessee to come back and be ferocious, right? And they were. So hats off to Tennessee. Great ball club. They were ranked 1 for a reason, right? But hats off to Florida. Florida's now defeated 2 ranked 1s in the exact same season. They may have the opportunity to do it a third time, but realistically speaking, this Florida Gators team is the best that it's looked in a very, very long time. I'm super proud of this team and what they're able to do. And if we continue to play ball the way we've been playing, just shooting crazy beyond the arc with our bigs doing great work in transition. I mean, these guys, they get the ball from one side of the court to the other, and the bigs are all athletes too. Right. So I love that. I love to see a team with the type of cohesiveness that this Florida Gators team has. I love to see what they're doing right now in this 4-game winning streak. I said 3 SEC teams, 1 ranked 1 team, 2 top 10 ranked teams. It's just absolutely insane right now what the Florida Gators are doing in college basketball. So in the last game, for the record, the Gators are a ranked 3 team with a 22-3 record. OK, if you didn't know, now you know. Ranked 3 team with 22-3 record. I think the Gators do their best work when they're not in rank 1. And I just mean that as a whole of college sports. If you take away college baseball and you take away gymnastics, this team loves to be the underdog. Like, I can't tell you. All 3 of our national championships that we won as an underdog. So there's that. I don't even know how we weren't favored against Oklahoma. I get it. They had some good players. I just don't understand how we weren't favored in that one. I mean, I understand not being favored against FSU back in the day, right? I mean, FSU was scary. But not being favored against Oklahoma, we weren't going to be favored against Ohio State because it's Ohio State and we don't like Ohio State. Screw Ohio State, honestly. Just forget that not conference, but that team. Like, worst team in college football. Swear to God. Hate them. But as far as basketball goes, yeah, we love to be the underdog. Oh, we love it. We freaking love it. So we beat South Carolina, 88-65. Nothing to write home mom about. I mean, it's 10-15 team that we beat, but still an SEC win, so that's always big. You know, we always want to win your division on your way to a crown in the Final Four. So, you got to do that. Next game is going to be against Oklahoma. That's going to be Tuesday, February 18th at 7 p.m. Guys, get ready for that game. You want to see some college basketball, some Gators college basketball. It's going to be a great time for them, for you guys to see it. Oklahoma recently, going through some changes there at that program and whatnot. So this team is definitely going to be not like a gutter team, but definitely like they're going to be fighting. They're going to be feisty, I think. But unfortunately, Florida's too much firepower. I think they're going to go ahead and take this W and improve to 23-3, guys, on the season. We are staring March Madness right in the face right now. We can't wait. First brackets are already starting to come out. Of course, the Gators are in the mix. Ranked 3 team, looking great. 4 in a row after the loss at Tennessee, guys. We're right on schedule. Literally, just right on schedule right now. So keep going, Gators. Keep up the good work. Love to see it. And then, so moving on from the beloved Florida Gators, we have the Florida State Seminoles, who, okay, they're not playing terrible basketball. All right. Obviously, they're not playing the best basketball they could be playing right now, but they're not playing terrible basketball. And let's talk about it. Okay. So the Noles, they lost to Clemson. It's Clemson. Okay, it's Clemson. If you're going to lose to Clemson, right, in the ACC. Let's be clear, right? If you're going to lose in the ACC, lose to Clemson. Lose to Duke, right? Let's not go lose to, who they play next, Miami, all right? So the Noles right now are rocking a 15-10 record. It's 5 above 500, which is good for them. They lost to Clemson, who is ranked 23, Clemson, by the way, and 21-5 Clemson at that. 72-46 score to that ball game, kind of a blowout. That's the part that makes you unsure about Florida State basketball. But again, like I said, it's Clemson. If you're going to get blown out by Clemson or Duke. And that's kind of what happened there. Their next game, my apologies. That next game that they have is going to be against the Canes. I was mentioning that. So obviously it's going to be one of those games that they don't want to lose. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's a trap game. It's a trap game. Miami's 2-2 over their last 4. We'll get into that in a second. But Florida State right now is in a position where their future is kind of teetering, right? You've got this young Miami team, which looks like they're trying to find some footing. finding identity, something we've been talking about basically for the last year, since about March Madness last year, in fact. And it looks like over the last 4 games, over the last, couple of months, in fact, they're starting to figure out how to score, how to win. That becomes a scary thing because no team is going to stay down there forever, right? It's a rotation. So we see teams that are rotationally good and teams that are rotationally bad, right? So Miami's more of a team that's rotationally good. Right now, they're just in a dark space, and that seems to be coming to a close. Like I said, they've 2-2 over the last 4. So Florida State's got to watch out. This is a trap game. This is one of those games where if you go in there and you lose, it's an ACC game for one, and for two, it's a team that you got to see more than once a year, and that in itself will be one of those things that helps propel Miami into not just a mindset, but cultivating that for the future, right? But for Florida State's sake, they need to win this game here. They need to continue to try to climb. They need to try and basically just win out and get into March Madness. It's going to be hard for them to do that right now. They're not really in the discussion for that, but it's possible. I believe it's still possible. From the bracket that I saw, it's still possible, so don't quote me on that. But we'll have to see where FSU decides to go moving forward. Again, they've been okay. Florida State's 2-2 in their last 4, and it's kind of a shaky 2-2. It's been a shaky 2-2 because outside of Clemson, like I said, their last loss before Clemson was it Pittsburgh? It might have been Pittsburgh. It might have been. I don't know. They just need not to lose this game against Miami. That's all I know. Florida State, you lose this game, you're in trouble. That's all I can tell you. Again, that game is going to be February 19th, 9 p.m., guys. It's Wednesday, February 9th. 19th, 9 p.m. So get ready for that game. That's going to be Florida State basketball versus Canes. We were just talking about the Canes, so let's go ahead and cover that little bit real quick, too, while we have the opportunity to do so. So for the Canes, they are not looking good. Not looking good at all. I mean, over the last 4 games, they're looking pretty all right, but their record is sitting right now at 6-19. I mean, 6-1-9 for all the Rey Mysterio fans out there. If you guys watch pro wrestling, you know. But not good, bro. Not good. Not a good record at all. I don't know where this sudden change of character came from. 2-2 over the last 4 is really, really good when you look at they only have 6 wins on the season. But unfortunately, they're getting ready to go see Florida State. And Florida State, as I was just saying, needs to win this game. The Canes' last game ended in a loss to Pittsburgh, 74-65, but they had won the game before that. They lost the game before that game, and then they won the game before that. Including that, one of their victories was against a Syracuse team, a very game Syracuse team in T, so that was a bit of an upset right there. They can win, but I don't know if they will. And the consistency is part of the issue that I'm dealing with right now. I think you look at this Canes team right now and you see these moments where they just like figure it out and they play tremendous basketball. And then for the rest of the other 19 games, it's just like, no. So this Canes team, like I said, very much so trying to find identity from last year, about this time last year, in fact. And I think they're starting to figure that out right now. And but, the rotation is also probably a big part of that. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some of that change again during the offseason. That was what happened last year, in fact. So we'll see what happens with them. But this Florida State-Miami game is going to tell a lot about both of these teams, and we'll see which one of these franchises decide they want to move forward, because I think whichever one takes the L right now is in a really, really dark spot, especially with March looming around the corner. And even though you don't make the dance, you're going to be watching. And I don't know about other people, but when I watch football, it fuels me. So I can only imagine a basketball player watching basketball. Kobe was like that, Mamba mentality, if you will. So, there's a lot to unpack there for Miami, but they've got to win this game if they want to really build upon this future that they're creating, cultivating down there in South Florida. Like I said, 2-2 in their last 4, and that Florida State game one last time, Miami, Florida, Wednesday, February 19th, 9 p.m. Get ready for that ball game, guys. It's going to be a bit of a doozy. 2 rivalries always getting together is like that, so don't be surprised. If it's a shootout. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a shootout, actually. I like a shootout. It's not too often that we have one of those. There's no shootouts going on right now in hockey, except for the one against Team USA and Team Canada during the break. So obviously, for those of you who got to see it, there were some tempers flaring. I think there was 3 fights during that game, 2 of them involving Florida's Panthers players. Don't mind me, guys. My back is just a little stiff. That's why we love hockey. Obviously, the game is great. grew up playing street hockey, so obviously hockey is a fun game. But also, if two guys got some differences they need to settle, the ice is yours, buddy. I mean, you might got to go sit in the box for a little bit, but it's worth it. I don't know about you guys, but I'd take the opportunity, even if I get knocked out. I mean, at the end of the day, you all got differences. You got to handle business, and your options are run or handle business. So, but in any case, shout out to Team USA for winning that game. Panthers, Bolts both represented there on that team, but a couple of Panthers players got in some fights. So that was pretty interesting. And those guys fight all strategic and whatnot. Like they grab each other's gear and they try to land shots over the top and whatnot. It's like that gentleman's boxing game from like back in the 1800s, if you guys remember that. But yeah, there's some nutty guys over there. The Bolts, rocking a 31-20-4 record in their last game before the break, were able to beat the Canadiens, the Montreal Canadiens. That is 5-3. The Canadiens rocking a 25-26-5 record. So yeah, they better have won that game. But good job, Bolts. They're playing tremendous hockey right now before the break, 4 wins in a row. So our boys in blue are taking care of business. Hey, I mean, would you look at that, right? Orlando Magic and, of course, the Bolts taking care of business before their respective breaks. So congratulations to the Bolts on really starting to figure it back out again. Their next game is going to be against the Kraken. That game's going to be Sunday, February 23rd at 6 p.m. I should be able to catch that game, barring – I lied. I might not be able to catch that game. We might be. Yeah, we're going to see Captain America that day. I'm not going to lie. We're going to see Captain America. I will follow the game on ESPN. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, I will follow the game on ESPN, but we are going to see Captain America. Don't spoil it for me, guys. If it was good, let me find out. But I'm excited to see that movie. It looks like it's going to be pretty good. And Red Hulk is insane. But yeah, so that game's going to be again Sunday, February 23rd at 6 p.m. That Kraken team is rocking a 24-29-4 record, so sub 500 by 5. Better win that game, Bolts. Don't lose it. Let's keep climbing up right now. I think we're 4th or 5th. We're 4th or 5th in the East, 2nd in the Atlantic. So we're in the hunt. We're in there. We're in there, boys and girls. 4 in a row, like I said. Yeah, 4 in a row. I love it. Keep it going, Bolts. Keep it going, boys. Now, then the Panthers, the very combative Florida Panther, let me tell you, he's got paws. He's got paws, and he's a feisty one, apparently. Panthers like to fight. I'm just tickled over that. I don't know if you guys saw. If you guys haven't seen it, go check them out. Like I said, there's 3 different fights. 2 of them had Panthers in it. Go check them out, guys. It was just, it's so funny. Like at the same time, like I enjoy it, but it is so funny to watch these guys settle their differences old school style. But the Panthers, they're playing tremendous hockey still as well. Both of these Florida teams playing tremendous hockey. It's like they look at each other and just get motivated or something. Like, I got to do better than that guy. And that guy's like, I got to do better than you. And so now they're fighting who's going to, host a Stanley Cup, because at this point it's like, if you're coming out of Florida, there's like a 90% chance you're going to hoist that trophy at this point. And yes, I'm biased because I live in Florida. You would be too. if you guys sent the same 2 teams to the Stanley Cup Finals 5 times in a row, yeah, you would be too, right? But they beat the Senators 5-1. Coincidentally, they're 5-1 over their last 6 games. So there's a lot of this synchronicity, if you will, for those of you who know what that means. There's a lot of that seemingly going around, but yeah, like I said, they were able to beat the Senators 5-1. Their next game is going to be against the Kraken. That game is going to be Saturday, February 27th or 22nd at 6 p.m. So both of these games are going to be happening at 6 p.m. One on Saturday, one on Sunday. Panthers Saturday, Bolts Sunday. So be prepared for that, guys. I personally am going to try to catch both of these games. I wouldn't be able to tell you if before time if I'm going to be able to catch the Panthers one, because like I said, I know we're going to go see Captain America on Sunday, but I'm really hoping that we do that earlier, and if we do that earlier, then I can actually watch it, get home in time and watch that game, and so we'll do that. The Panthers game is going to be on a Saturday, so I'll probably catch the tail end of that game. It's at 6 p.m. So odds are, I'll probably get like from 7 o'clock on ish. I think I should be able to get that game. So I should be able to give you guys, a a look at what it's like, really what it's like being a Panthers fan or being just a Florida fan in general right now. Like I said before, the Panthers are playing tremendous hockey. This is a team that has the roster to go hang with the Golden Knights. So, we'll have to wait and see. Like, we just have to wait and see. And I know I say that a lot, but again, both of these teams playing tremendous hockey right now. We're on the break. When we come back from the break, it's going to be whoever has more fire lit underneath them. I think that usually whichever team has the better record goes a little bit further, if not all the way. And there have been times where it's been, the Bolts late in the season where they start pulling it out. It looks like they're starting to figure it out now, which is just before the break. So that could be even better. But, again, we have to wait and see. The Panthers right now rocking a 34-20-3 record. I want to put that out there just to let you guys know how close it is between the Panthers and the Bolts. It's a 3-game difference right now between both of these teams, right? So we'll see what happens. Go Bolts, go Panthers. Super proud of both of these teams. And like I said, next game for both of these teams are going to be against the Kraken, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. And they don't have to go far to travel. So the Florida Panthers are in Sun City, Florida, I believe it is, which is, 2 hours away? About 2 hours away from Tampa. And then, of course, my beloved Bolts, they actually play. I work right down the street from where they play, actually. I'll be there tomorrow morning. I will literally be right next to MLA Arena tomorrow morning. So for work. So yeah, it's so cool. I always go by that building. I've been there many, many times. It's been a while since I've been to a hockey game, but I look forward to doing that again. But they host so much there. Took my son to Monster Jam. That was there at MLA Arena. We just took him to the other one, which is at Raymond James Stadium. So there's a lot of continuity there for not only our teams, but for the events that we get to attend there. And so, yeah, love our Bolts and our Panthers, and just hoping for the best for them as they continue to move forward, guys. And then for NASCAR, right? So let's go ahead and check back in the chat real quick, because I believe we have a winner. And William Byron takes home the Daytona 500. That was the guy who was taking the lead right after I moved on from it, so I could get prepared for the show, guys. So that's very interesting. It looks like he stayed there in the top 5 for a good part of that. But oh man, insane finish to that Daytona 500. Like I said, multiple delays too, so I'm pretty sure that maybe fatigue probably played a bit of a factor. I can't speak on it for sure because I don't do anything NASCAR related, but as far as like driving and like I've never experienced what it must be like to be in the car, but I can tell you it's absolutely insane. T-Rod with the Orlando Valkyries, a pro women's volleyball team from the Pro Volleyball Federation, went 2-0 this past week as they took down the Columbus Fury and the Grand Rapids Rise. Orlando has won 5 straight, but we're balling. Orlando's balling right now. Major League Soccer is right back around the corner. I believe it is too. We're getting back into the mix of that. So we'll be getting ready to talk about the Orlando City, who made it further than Miami did. Inter Miami did this past year. So Orlando is just in a very, very, very nice spot right now for sports. And that's incredible to hear that, especially for volleyball, because that's not something that is canon around here. Yeah. For Florida, volleyball is always seemed more like a fun pastime instead of something that we've really poured into a lot of the time, if you guys get what I mean from a sports perspective. So that's actually really, really nice to hear that. We have tremendous beaches in Florida, so I don't understand why we don't do better, but that's neither here nor there. Congratulations to Orlando on that big old win and the 5 in a row. Like you said, that was absolutely phenomenal. Congratulations to William Byron on his win in the Daytona 500. And, so I guess we'll see what happens next. He's clearly in a great spot to proceed forward and to make the most of this year here in NASCAR, as, again, we have finally gotten around the track. Again, congratulations to William Byron there on that victory there. I hope everybody in those crashes are okay, because 2 big crashes there at the end of the race, that's scary. Obviously, we never really want to experience that, but again, it's part of the thing. Just like injuries in sports, you're going to have crashes in NASCAR, Indy 500, Le Mans, whatever your gig is. But, prayers up to those guys. Hopefully they're okay and we can go from there. And yeah, Dad, we were thinking about that. The Dale Earnhardt, when he passed away there at that crash at 500, and we never forget that. I can still see the crash very vividly in my mind. So, but he's a legend. He remains a legend to us all, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here on Palm Tree Sports Radio, you guys. I really appreciate you guys joining me this evening. I can't wait to get back with you guys next week. Of course, right now with the NFL season now ending, with college football on the ropes right now, we're going to look towards our other sports for enjoyment, for our hobbies right now: basketball, baseball, etc. Soccer again, back in full swing. Can't wait to talk about Inter Miami and Orlando City, guys. It's going to be a wonderful show moving forward. We're going to have a wonderful year of shows the rest of this way, guys. Again, thank you for joining me on Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name has been Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, this is brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I will see you same time, same place here Sunday evening, 9 p.m. for all of your Florida sports needs. And until next time, this is Corey P signing off.